Hey guys, Colorado Camperman Brian here. So I thought it would be cool to do a video while we're camping here of my camping history. So right now we're doing some camping, some dispersed camping on some national forest land near Wilkerson Pass in Colorado. But I figured I'd start things off with going way back to the beginning all the way up until now. So my parents had me camping within the first year of my life. My parents started us out on some backpacking trips where they throw us on their back and we'd go do some tent camping. And then they ended up buying an Apache pop-up camper, which at the time the Apache was, the new high-tech camper. It had hard sides. It still had the tents out on the sides there, but it was a pop-up camper where it was hard-sided, and then it had the tent beds on the sides. So they didn't have that thing for too long. I think they only had it for a year, maybe 2 years, and then they ended up getting a larger pop-up camper. It was a scamper camper. And to this day, it's 2015, they still have that camper. So I think they bought that thing back in 85 or 86, and they still have it to this day. But we had camped in that thing. Really, like I said, I was probably only one or two when they had first got it. And I have a twin brother and an older sister, and the five of us would camp in there. Really, again, from when I was one or two up until I left the nest at 18. So I have a lot of great memories in that camper. We camped with that camper all over the place. We went on a trip to Yellowstone, and then we did a lot of trips in Colorado. I'm from northern Colorado, so one of the places that we camped a lot when I was growing up was this place called Hermit Park. And at the time when I was growing up, Hewlett Packard had owned it, and that's where my dad worked. So one of the benefits of being an employee there was you get a camp, at Hermit Park. And now Hermit Park is actually owned by Larimer County, so we can still camp there, which is really great. So then when I started getting a little bit older, at the end of high school and then in college, pretty much the only camping I did then was car camping or tent camping, or also did start to do some backpacking. I didn't really do a whole heck of a lot of backpacking trips, but I got into that in college, and so we would do backpacking trips, and those were a lot of fun. It's one of our favorite places to go, and still is the Sangre de Mountains, or Sangre de Cristo Mountain Range. It's a really great mountain range, and there's a lot of great backpacking trails up there. So then probably when I was towards the end of my college years, my now wife and I had started to date, and her mother had let us borrow their pop-up camper. So we took that out for a few years. We went on several trips with that, and once we had graduated college and our relationship was a little bit more serious, we were like, hey, we should consider buying our own pop-up camper. And so we did. We bought a Coleman. I honestly can't tell you guys what the model was, but it was a Coleman, and it was really great because it had a real nice front storage container. And it was great because you could pack everything up in there and keep the pop-up camper down and pack all your gear up in that little front container, and then you'd have everything ready. Because for those of you who have a pop-up camper or have owned one before, a lot of times if you don't have that, what you have to do is crank it up, load all your gear in there, and then close it down. It's just kind of a pain. So that front storage compartment we really liked. It also was a low-profile one, so it was very easy to tow. It had a really good layout. We loved the layout of it. And we just had, at the time, I had a Jeep Wrangler, and then I ended up getting rid of that and getting a 4Runner. And both of those vehicles, I mean, it was nothing to pull that pop-up camper. It was extremely light. So we loved that pop-up camper. The other really awesome feature about it was it had this awning with a screen room. And it was great because we would always put that thing out. It took 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. But I'll show some pictures of it here, but it was so great because it would extend out basically the entire footprint, of the pop-up camper onto the outside. So we would set up chairs in there, we'd have coffee in the morning, we'd have dinner out there at night, and we loved that little screen room. It was a really nice feature of the pop-up camper. And so we actually only had that pop-up camper for one summer. The reason being is because the following year, after our first summer with it, in the springtime, we were unloading some stuff, and we had noticed there were some mice droppings in that front storage bin. And it turned out some mice had gotten in there and making a home out of our pop-up camper over the winter time. We had made the mistake of keeping oatmeal in there and hot cocoa and sugar and stuff like that, and they had plenty of food in there, and they just destroyed our pop-up camper. It was really gross. So we ended up cleaning the heck out of it. We got it professionally cleaned, and we had considered using it again, but honestly, we were just so grossed out by the way we had found it that we just wanted to get rid of it. And it was sanitary enough for the next person that we sold it to. Like I said, we got it professionally cleaned, and it was okay, but we were just too grossed out by it. So we ended up selling that, and then we were still using my mother-in-law's pop-up camper, and they ended up getting rid of that, and they purchased a travel trailer. So we were pretty much just tent camping at the time, and then they had their travel trailer, and we had seen how awesome it was to have plumbing, to have a refrigerator, to have all these amenities that we never had in our pop-up camper. And so, again, my wife and I, at the time she was still my girlfriend, were like, oh no, wait, we had gotten engaged, that's right. So she was my fiance, we were going to get married. And the summer we were getting married, actually, we decided to buy a hybrid camper. Because at the time there, we had just our little 4Runner, and that was it. That was going to be our tow vehicle. And the max capacity on a 4Runner tow capacity was 5,000 pounds. So we were looking around for hybrids, and we ended up buying one brand new because cost-wise, there really wasn't a large difference from the used ones that we had found to the new one. So we were like, yeah, let's just buy one brand new. So we had bought a 2012 Starcraft launch. It was a 16 RB, so it was a little 16-foot hybrid camper. We loved that camper. That thing was awesome. I think it was only about 2,700 pounds dry, and then I think you could load it up to about 3,200 pounds. So it was a great camper. We ended up having that the summer of 2012, 2013, and then going on into 14. And going, let's see, so the winter of 2013 going on into 14, for those of you who know, I do have a painting business, and I had a work van. And my work van ended up getting in an accident. Everybody was okay, but it was completely totaled. And so I had the choice of either getting another van or potentially getting a truck. And so I made the decision to go ahead and get a truck. So the truck would serve purpose for my business as well as personal. And we got a 1995 Chevy 2500. And it was a great truck. It had a 454 in it. And I ended up buying that truck for a couple of reasons. One, because I figured with towing the hybrid, it would do very well with having a nice big gas engine, And then two, I also wanted to get a truck camper. It always kind of been my dream that, you get a truck camper, then you bring it up to the mountains and go camping in a parking lot while you go snowboarding, because I'm a big snowboarder. So that was kind of my thought of getting the truck. I was like, well, this could serve a lot of purposes. So ended up getting the truck and picked up a truck camper for $400 on Craigslist. Um, well, actually, I got two truck campers. First, I bought one for I think 350 or 375, and I tried fixing it up, and there was just too many things wrong with it. I'll show you guys some pictures here, but it didn't have the best layout. I wasn't too crazy about it. The jacks were kind of messed up, and so I'd spent a little bit of time in fixing it up and whatnot. I did fix the jack system, but it was still kind of messed up, and I ended up buying a different truck camper, the truck camper that I have now, for $400 on Craigslist. And I really loved the layout. It has the upper bunk above the dinette that folds down, so the sleeping capacity was a little bit higher, and I just really liked it. So I bought that thing for $400. It needed quite a bit of work, which I didn't know at the time when I bought it how much work it needed. But I ended up having to completely redo the upper bunk. I had to reframe it out. I had to put a whole new floor up there, and I actually put new flooring all in the truck camper as well too. I put nice laminate flooring in there, redid the curtains, redid the upholstery. I painted it on the inside, on the outside. I've just done a ton of stuff, and I'll put a link in here so you guys can see the before video and then the after video. But I did a lot of work to that truck camper. So that was January 2014 is when I got that. So we had the hybrid camper, and then we had the truck camper. And so we were camping in April of 2014 at Pueblo Reservoir. And we were camping with a hybrid. It was our first camping trip of the year in April, and we had a horrible windstorm. And there was continuous gusts of wind, probably 25, 30 miles an hour sustained, and then we had, bigger gusts up there. So when you're in the hybrid camper, those beds were just so loud, and that was probably one of our biggest beefs about the hybrid camper was just the beds. It was kind of cool because it was like you were camping outside, but if it was windy or if it was raining or anything like that, you would really hear it. And so that night we ended up closing up the beds, and my wife and I slept on the dinette, which on a 16-foot foot plan like I had there, or footprint rather, the little dinette was very small. I mean, I'm only 5'8", and I didn't even completely fit on it. I had to pretty much be in the fetal position the entire night. So it was pretty small. But anyhow, so after that experience, we were like, man, do we really want the hybrid camper anymore? We have this truck camper, or this truck rather, this Chevy 2500. We're no longer limited by our tow capacity, so why don't we consider getting a travel trailer? And so that's what we did. I scoured Craigslist. I was on there pretty much every night from that night that we had, camping in a hybrid camper until we bought our travel trailer. I was on Craigslist every single night searching for a bunkhouse travel trailer, because we want to get a bunkhouse because my wife and I plan on having kids, and we go camping with our friends a lot, so we want to make sure the sleeping capacity was there. But we didn't want to go into debt to getting a new camper, and we basically wanted to just be able to sell our hybrid and be able to purchase a travel trailer for the same cost. So basically do an upgrade of our camper with no cost involved. So I found the travel trailer, which we now have up in Dillon, Colorado, which is about 2.5 hours away from Colorado Springs, where we live. And The guy's Craigslist ad was pretty terrible. I mean, it had a couple pictures on there. Luckily, he had the model number on there. And so I checked it out online. I Googled it. And I saw the camper, and I was like, wow, this thing has a great footprint. And, you know, it looked really great from all the pictures I found online. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on this thing. So I drove up 2.5 hours, met the guy. He showed me the camper, and I just fell in love with it. I called up my wife, told her I think we should get it, and ended up picking it up. And it really worked out great. It couldn't have worked out any better. We actually ended up selling our hybrid for more money than we bought our travel trailer. So we actually made a little bit of money on the deal. So we upgraded our camper and we made a little bit of money. So it was pretty great. So right now we have a 2010 Keystone Hideout, 27 BWE, and we love this camper. I mean, it is just great. The footprint on the inside, the layout is just excellent. The tanks are nice and big. It's not very heavy. And now we have a Dodge Ram 3500 diesel. We ended up getting rid of the Chevy 2500, and the diesel just tows this thing like nobody's business. I mean, it is just amazing. So we still also have the truck camper, which, by the way, it's a 1978 Hallmark truck camper, and then we still have our Keystone Hideout. So, and our goal right now, typically, you know, as far as camping goes and all that, we usually go camping once a month throughout the entire year. That's always our goal, is no matter what, we're going to try to go camping at least once a month, maybe twice a month. And we use our travel trailer in the warmer months, so we'll use it from April till October, and then we winterize it, and then in the wintertime, that's primarily when we use the truck camper, because it doesn't have a plumbing system in it. It has a very basic plumbing system. It's just a freshwater tank, and that's it. And so we use that, you know, October through April, May-ish time frame. We also use the truck camper to do some tailgating. You know, we're going to Broncos game this year. We're gonna use it then, and we just really enjoy having the both campers because we use them for two completely different purposes, and it works out really well. So if you guys do have any questions about my camping history or setup or anything, please let me know below. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching my video here on our camping history, and I enjoyed talking about it. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about my camping history. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you guys later.